Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm going to be talking about how I passed my real estate exam in Virginia. I am super excited to have finally passed. It's now been a few months since I've been licensed officially, but I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about my beginning process, since it's still fairly the beginning of this whole journey and this career that I'm starting. So if you are interested, keep watching because I'm going to be dropping the gems and the tea. So I took a pre-licensing class first. That was the first thing I did. That's the first thing you have to do. So it doesn't matter what state you're in, just Google the pre-licensing course for real estate, and I would browse around because I'm pretty sure there's different options that you can sign up for as far as different prices. A really popular one is called the CE Shop, .com. That's a good place that you could look into, and they have it for multiple states, and so no matter where you are, you can go on. It's virtual, so you can follow along to your own pace. It's super straightforward, super easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it's a lot of information, although it makes it easier to follow up with it and keep up with it because you're doing it at your own pace. Whereas what I took when I did my pre-licensing course, I had the option to sit in person, in the class for some days, and then other days I was tuned in virtually. And so there was a pre-licensing course that I took through Keller Williams. And I actually got a discount on that because at the time I was working at a title office. So I was also able to get that experience with real estate through that. So yeah, I took the pre-licensing course, and at the end of the course, it verifies you for 60 hours. And so you need 60 credit hours in order to take your exam. So for the class it was 30 hours and then another 30 that you had to just study on your own. So I did that, took the exam, passed that exam for the pre-licensing course. Once I passed that exam, I got a code. I used that code to sign up and register for the PSI, and the PSI is the name of the real estate exam that you take to get licensed officially. So on the real estate exam, there's two parts to it. There's the state part and the national part, and they're both timed. And so the state part is shorter, that's 45 questions, and it's 45 minutes long. And the state part is 120 questions, and that includes everything of national wise and the math. So you have to know how to do your calculating of mortgages and stuff like that, commission, so on and so forth. In order to study, I used two textbooks. I used the national textbook and the state textbook. I used this textbook to study for my state portion. This is the 11th edition Real Estate Practice and Law from Dearborn. So I use Dearborn books to study via textbook, and this is the national portion of the textbook that I used. So when I first started, I just went through the textbook, really learned the vocabulary, I went ham on the vocabulary, and I learned the math. And then I went through it and really learned the material as far as the whatever. Get this part out. Yeah. What else? So besides doing the textbook, I also used Google, of course. I used Quizlet, and through Quizlet, I actually downloaded some of the PSI practice tests. And I went through that and I took that test after I got more comfortable with the material that I learned in the textbooks. And if I didn't know, I would take an exam, and then at the end of the exam review the things I knew, review the things I didn't know. And for the questions I didn't know, I would go to Google, because I don't think it gave me the right answers for some of them, I can't remember. But I would go to Google and go to I would highlight the questions, paste it, and go to Quizlet, and I would find even more practice exams and more practice questions. And so I'd also use Quizlet to study for that. I also used Prepagent. That was another study tool that I used that was super, super helpful. And I used that more towards the end of my continuous trials of trying to pass this exam, because mind you, I didn't say this part yet, but it took me 5 times to pass my real estate exam. Yes, 5 times. I need to actually find, I think I have them right here. Here are my attempts. I look really dusty on my pictures, but there's so many because it's like for the state and national portion. So I first took it July 31st, 2021, and I was really hesitant to take the test at first, before I even I just was overthinking a lot, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to pass on the first time. Unrealistic. I want to pass on the first time. I don't want to fail. One thing I had to learn was I needed to fail in order to succeed. And I think that's a lot of what this whole career in real estate has been teaching me, is in order to succeed, you're going to fail a few times, and that's okay. That's okay. So I took the test and I was like, oh my gosh, I failed. I was like, you know what? No, it's fine. Now I know what is on the exam. And so just saying F it and just taking it, after studying for a month, I was like, okay, this is enough, let me just go for it. Went for it. I failed. Studied again for another 2 weeks, took it again, failed again. Studied some more. This time I was getting a little bit more discouraged. So having a strong mentality and having a good support system is so important in order to get through this, and really believe that you can do it, and just put your mind to it. Honestly, whatever you put your mind to, you can do. Nothing, there's literally nothing that you cannot do. If I can do it, you can do it too. Okay, so took it again, and failed again. Took it one more time, and I passed the state part first. And apparently the state part is more difficult to pass because it's a minute per question, and so you really have to know it really, really well. So I passed that portion, but I failed the national by just a few. It was 8 points. I was 8 points away, and I missed it. So I took it once more, and then I passed. And so in order to be licensed, you need to pass obviously both parts of the exam. You don't have to take one part of it again if you've already passed it. So I only needed to take the national part again after passing just the state portion. So did that. After passing the exam, the next thing is to get your fingerprints done. So for the exam, each time you take it, it costs $60, and then for your fingerprints it's $52. And you just take that at whatever test center that you were at. After that, you join a brokerage, and once you join a brokerage and you make that decision on what brokerage you want to join, I suggest interviewing different brokerages, so that way you can get a feel for the environment, for what they have to offer, for what your price point is as far as your split and fees, all that. I can make another video on how to choose a brokerage, but you choose a brokerage, and then once you have a brokerage picked, then you're gonna get your MLS set up, your Century Lock set up, and you're also gonna join an association in your state. And so there's different types of associations all over. I'm a part of NVAR, which is the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors. And yeah, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my little notes. So yeah, after you join a brokerage, that's like the main thing that you want to do. NVAR is your association. It's different for every state, but it is going to be a little bit pricey. So you're going to need about like a little bit over a stack, if not a stack, to no, a little bit over a stack to get into real estate. That's the first thing. You're going to be investing in yourself, so you really want to make sure that it's worth your while and that you make it count and that you wake up and you do the work, okay? Do the work, because it's a lot of work and everything is a lot of work. So choose the work that you want to do and go for it, and make sure you're bringing value to the people every time you're doing it. That's my piece of advice to you. So that's pretty much it on how I experienced getting my real estate exam, the process that I went through, and yeah, just the main thing is being strong mentally. Like when I tell you I was overthinking. I was like, dang, I don't want to fail. But you know what? Like I said, you gotta fail to succeed. And so once I finally got over the fact, like just putting it off, I took the class. I didn't take the exam for like a month or two. Finally took it, and I'm glad I did that because I was able to see what I was about to, like face as far as what was on the exam. Really mastered the type of questions that they were asking, how I felt and how I would go about answering the questions, because knowing the math portion of the exam is really what got me my leg up when it was time to, like, when I actually passed, because I really studied that part and I knew the formulas, like knowing the formulas, knowing the vocabulary for sure, and using Prepagent, because that's also what made a difference. Using those practice quizzes that they have on there was so helpful. I think that was one of the most helpful tools of studying that I used. I also used a website called Night Before the Exam, and I really liked that because it was like interactive and it was like a game. It kind of reminded me of Millsbury or like Club Penguin. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so stuff like that was really helpful. But I would really say my top 3 studying tips would be skim through the textbook, because I don't know, it depends on how you study, but for me, I just skimmed through the text. I should have just skimmed through it instead of like trying to read and really understand fully everything, because you're not gonna get it all. It's best to just take the exam and see what you're working with after your pre-licensing course. You could literally take it the next day after you got your pre-licensing course, and you could probably pass, honestly. So it's really not that difficult. But the test is a barrier of entry into real estate, and so being able to get over that hoop is just the first hurdle. The next things, on the list is really building your sphere of influence, connecting with people, and consistently making real estate related content, and like I said, providing value to the people. So that's pretty much all that I have for my experience taking my real estate exam and passing. I'm so excited to get started in this career. I'm so happy about it. I think I've made a great choice, but I'm just ready to put in more work and to think smarter, not harder, hustle, because that's all. It's all about the hustle, babe. It's all about the hustle and grind. But like I said, work smarter, not harder. That pretty much sums it up for this video. Make sure you like and comment, subscribe, but let me know what you think, your thoughts. If you have any more questions that I can elaborate on for you, reach out to me. And if there's any other topics that you'd like to know more about as far as real estate, I'm here to teach you what I'm learning, because y'all are coming with me on this journey. I'm going to do my best to document as much as possible. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.